So hello and welcome to the UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup for the 2024-2025 season. This is round number 4 from Namur. You can see we're up on the Citadel, and it's the next instalment of the ongoing story of the season. Michael van Torenhout leading the standings from Elizabeth, his teammate. Torenhout's moving up into 3rd place after a great ride in Dublin. No round at Cabras, which was cancelled due to the extreme winds blowing pretty much everything off from the beach. And because Namur is such a tough race, well, it's going to be instrumental in these riders' campaigns if they can make it through safely. One rider who excels here is the rider who is one of the few to have taken a win here and is riding today, and has got 7 top 10 places. I think we can hear from our World Cup leader. Now, it's Michael van Torenhout.
Michael van Torenhout, good times for you the last couple of weeks. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I feel good. So yeah, we will see today, but it's a very hard race. So yeah, it will be a difficult one, but yeah, it's a lot of spectators, so it will be a beautiful one.
Do you have an explanation for the good form you have been having the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I work hard the last 3-4 weeks, so yeah, I think it pays off the hard work. So yeah, I hope I'm recovered from yesterday. So yeah, you will see.
Elizabeth, how is the feeling today?
I think good. It's a very hard track, very technical today. So yeah, it's really a nice cyclocross race.
Does not seem the ideal track for you with all the climbing?
Yeah, it seems to be a race that suits me, but I didn't perform on a high level, I think, here the last few years. So I hope to do it a bit better this year. For me, yesterday was a little bit harder, so I hope to recover today and yeah, ride a good result.
Pim Ronnaar, what's necessary for you to take the last step and get your first win of the season?
To be ahead of the guy who normally finished first.
How do you make that happen?
Push harder on the pedals than them.
Is this a place where you can do that, where you can push harder on the pedals than everybody else?
Last year I could, yeah, but this year I did a race before. I did a race yesterday, and I can feel it in my body. But it's getting there. It's getting closer and closer. But there's always someone that's a little bit stronger, but hopefully not today.
Ton Aerts, the combination Namur and Ton Aerts. What does that say for you?
I really like that combination. I always ready to battle here on the Citadel. I really like this course, and in the previous years I got some decent results here, so I'm happy to be again in this beautiful area.
What do you think about the conditions here today?
It's not that we have very bad weather the last weeks, but you know, in Namur, riding under the trees in the forest, it's always a bit wet. So today it's always also slippery and a bit technical, so I like the course. Also, if it's like it is today.
Thibaut Nys, first cross after the training camp with the road team. How is the feeling?
I will see that in the race, but I've had a pretty good period in Spain, and I could do my thing. And to be honest, I felt stronger than ever. So I hope it will result in a nice race.
Is this a track that suits you?
Yeah, I think it's 100% my thing.
Well, no hesitation there from Thibaut Nys. Is this a track that suits you? Yep, no worries whatsoever. Really interesting to hear Michael van Torenhout, who raced yesterday along with Elizabeth. It's a track he goes well, it's a course he goes well on. Elizabeth, this is his nemesis. Now, I've got memories of him abandoning in the cold and the rain, racing against Pidcock, who took the last edition of the racing here, took away the win. Pim Ronnaar, well, I think he probably wins the award for the best pre-race interview. What do you have to do to win? Be quicker than the guy who normally beats you. But he is a rider who could excel. Today we'll see whether he's on enough form. Ton Aerts, he's on the ascendancy. He's looking very, very strong. He started quick yesterday, and yesterday's racing has slowed off a little bit. So we'll see if he is able to challenge to improve on his 3rd place in the standings. He did that because of his 2nd place in Dublin. Dublin results, well, it was Michael van Torenhout who took the win from Ton Aerts in 2nd place, to the 3rd place for Felipe Orts. Orts, a rider who could well be up there today one man who is definitely going to be wanting to challenge Lawrence Sveek. Sveek he's had 5 top 10s here, but not yet managed to get a win. The riders lined up. They're gridded down in order in World Cup ranking. So basically the front row full of the top 8 riders of the riders in the World Cup. Jens Adams in 11th place in the World Cup Series, not riding today. Niels van der Poel in 13th, not taking to the start line. Neither is Clement Venturini in 17th place. Cameron Mason in 19th. And Suarez in 20th. They're the real big names missing from the overall standings, along with Manu, Strohmeyer, Annie Kostas, Gabriel and White. But today will be very telling. Now, this climb is unique. The first part of the climb unique to the start. We then join the standard part of the course part way up before we make our way up in to the top. So you can see the approach road to the Citadel here. Cobbled, slippery, tricky. The centre line is the high line down the middle. It's the one where most of the riders will aim for before taking what is a slight chicane, a slight right and a slight left in front of the huge crowds here today, and head out on the course proper. The full course lap, 2.5 kilometres long. The first lap, 2.3 kilometres, because we join by coming in here. Impossible to start on the finish area up on the plaza at the top. So the start here on the climb, a traditional start here in Namur. So they actually go to pit number 2, because the pit's numbered in the order that you get to them from the finish line on a standard lap, or from the start line on a standard lap. So you get to pit 2, then pit 1, and then pit number 2. The bike's able to be exchanged at that pit. If you want to take a bottle, you've got to take it on the bike. No changing bikes or mechanicing anywhere else on course. Keeping the bike together, almost as important as keeping yourself together and not making mistakes. Now, I'm not going to give any spoilers for the women's race. If you haven't watched it, please do make sure you do. Absolutely astounding race. As we take a look down the front row of the grid, Lars van der Haar. He's got a 2nd place here today, 8th in the World Cup. Felipe Orts, the man who took that podium in Dublin. He's currently sitting in 6th place. Lawrence Sveek currently in 4th place in the World Cup, 2nd place in Antwerp on the sand. Thibaut Nace in the background there today. Now see if he's going to be able to use this course to his advantage. Michael van Torenhout, the World Cup leader, will be in that World Cup leaders jersey, winner of Dublin, 3rd in Antwerp. A rider who absolutely loves this. He is 3 points ahead of his teammate Ellie Isbit in those overall standings. Jan Verschuur on the start line, 7th overall in the 5th overall in the World Cup. Ellie Isbit, probably a rider with a lot to prove here today. If he's heads up and he's going well, he has good days, but when he has bad days, boy does he have bad ones. We'll see what sort of day he's going to have. Toon Aerts, well, resurgent Toon Aerts will be looking forward to testing himself on this course and seeing if he can move up through those standings. He needs a good day today, but if history is anything to go by, he should have a good day at the office here. He has had some spectacularly bad ones. Pim Ronhaar, far left-hand side of the screen in that red and blue distinctive kit. Well, Ronhaar is currently sitting in 7th position in the World Cup, 7th in the UCI World Rankings. He got a 6th in Dublin, 7th place in Antwerp. I'm guessing anywhere inside the top 5 today would be a good day. It's going to get him higher than his average seems to be. A little bit further back down that start grid. It's a long, long way to the front. There are 77 riders of 17 nations on our start list. The riders will go when the lights turn green. A lot of pressure on Thibaut Nace, the European champion. He's on row 2. Can he make his way to the front by the time it narrows at the top of the climb? Away they go, the lights turn green. Van Toren out in the centre, just dropping a little bit behind us. Sveek is a bit with a good move up the right-hand side of the course, our left-hand side, but the chicane is going to squeeze, and will they get round it in one piece? Looks like the front of the race has. Big push by Toon Aerts on the front in that darker blue strip. Sveek moves into 2nd wheel. They don't want to let anybody up the inside. They don't want to let any of these gaps go. The charge coming behind the walls of the Citadel, absolutely packed with spectators watching the master right. If you're at the front, it's a good run through. If you're at the back, well, you've got lots of congestion. Very easy to get tangled up on the way around the turns. So it's Kuhn and Kuipers, the top three going over the top of that first section. But as they come in, Kevin Kuhn riding on some great form this year, riding really well. And Gerben Kuipers, who's a super fast starter, right up into the mix. Also one of our lighter riders as well. Then two riders in the yellow and blue, yellow top, blue shorts. They have got the race lead at the moment. Kuhn number 34 on his shoulders, Kuipers number 26. And Kevin Kuhn slightly bigger than the two riders, but it's Kuipers at the moment who's just trying to open up a little bit of a gap of two now. So he takes that wide line round. Behind Svik, sits just inside the top five. Long race here, aiming to be around that hour marker. And the lap numbers will be decided once we've gone through the first two laps. They'll go up on the board. That's when the race referees, the commissaires from the UCI, will know how long it's taking the riders around and how to get them as close to that time. Sometimes it can be very close, sometimes it can be a long way out, and if you are a long way down on that last lap, you can be out there for well in excess of an hour. So Gerben Kuipers with a little bit of a gap opening up. I can't imagine that Kevin Kuhn is going to chase him too hard. He'll want to stay in front of Tunis as he go down into the technical descent. This left-right chicane taking the speed off the riders rather than doing a straight left-hand turn, just to give a little bit of speed off before we go over the curb edges across the transitioning surface and onto these steps. Kuhn, Eds, Svik, Isabet up onto the steps here. Great ride at the moment by Ian Ackart of Canada. He's currently sitting in 7th place. Mies Hendricks moving up as well. He's the rider in the group at the moment. The lead by Kuipers. This descent very much about controlling the speed. You can't go too quick into this turn. You overcook it, you're in trouble. A lot of riders just dabbing on the way down. So Kuhn, Svik, Isabet, Van der Poel, Ackert in 7th. Great ride by him. Hendricks in 8th. Ors in 9th. Ashura in 10th place at the moment. Colin van Kessel, then Ryan Camp, Bosch, Musen, Van der Bosch, Van Toren out. Main on a good ride. Usually goes well here for Great Britain. Rulia followed by Bard and Degenkop. They're the top 20 at the moment. The race going to settle down into a rhythm. Now the steep descent down to the road. Tight left-hand turn down here as the riders turn left on to the cobbled climb. No doubt in the 100 climbs. That's the side to the left there. Already out and prep for the race. Ors trying to stabilise left leg out there, trying to get the body weight across the left, and we've definitely got at least one rider down on the bank, and that looks like, well, maybe Van Kessel, more issues, looks like Pim Roja with issues further back down that race field. And that was a big tumble, a big fall. He's just going to take a look at his Colin Van Kessel, who I think has got caught up there in the bank and going over, get caught up in that netting in the branding. Very difficult to get going, particularly if you've got issues with the bike, and it can drop you down these early stages. Riders are packed together. You make a mistake, you're going to drop a long way now. A little bit of reach down on the bike there as they come into the traverse. Tunis takes the high line, so our left, the rider's right. You start at the top, you've got room to escape lower down. If you are low down, as you can see, Kuipers along with Kuhn are being followed by Svik. There's not a lot of room to get out of jail, and problems there as Kuipers makes a little mistake, has to lean right the way over the bike. Good recovery though as he picks it back up behind inside that top 10. You can see that Thibaut Nice really up in the mix. Ackert along with the rider there, just tucked in alongside Thibaut Nice, going well. Rider who really needs to get back into gear and get back into position And that is Michael Van Toren now, currently hovering round about the top 15, but not at the front of the race yet. Well, Ellie Isabit is not the tallest rider in the bunch, but very much going up there like a penguin up an ice shelf. Really struggling, I think, to get a grip there. Didn't look very comfy as he went up that bank. He dropped down that bank into the steep ascent and up on to the top of the Citadel into the plaza once again. 4 riders just starting to open up that gap. It's Kuhn along with Kuipers, who made that good recovery. Lawrence Sleek off to the rider's right or left-hand side, jumping off on the dry side of the bike. For sure, then that gap to Isabit's going to do a quick remount here, the Belgian champion in the red, black and yellow. As they come to line, lap 1 complete, 6 minutes 33, rocked in round what is a very difficult, tricky course. You can see the amount of water laying down and the amount of mud that's been transferred onto the race routes to come past the pit on the top of the Citadel here. 2 nets leading out. This goes around the side of Kuipers. Nice going in to that pit. Leaves one bike, picks up the next quick remount there. He's going to come out, I think, just behind Ellie Isabit in front of Felipe Orts. There he goes. Slots in behind Orts, meets Hendricks in that all-green top, very distinctive jersey. Currently sitting right there in the mix. Will he be able to hold that place, holding the top 10 position at the moment? So Kevin Kuhn, the only interloper in a all-Belgium top 8 at the moment on the course, but it's now starting to change again. We've just seen a move of the man in the blue denim-styled outfit of Alpecin. That is Thibaut Del Grosso. This is his first outing on the Elite World Cup this season. One of the riders coming back along with Thibaut Nice after a break. He's a rider who we saw last season put in some fantastic races when, instead of racing the under-23 competition, he raced in the elite competition. He was absolutely flying. A great race by him at Zolder last year, where he really mixed it up with the top riders right the way into the end, and at one stage could well have ridden away with that race. Let's see what he can do here today. He's definitely maturing well. So Kuhn leading into this descent, takes that left-hand turn totally, so you can see those tree roots which are so slippery in the rain. Slippery when wet for sure. As they come around that tight line, you've really got to turn the front wheel. Just sliding there on Thibaut Nice, corrected. He's just in front of Del Grosso at the moment. As Kuhn leads down off the mud, over the tarmac, off the next curb edge. You can just see the bike moving underneath. The riders, good ride at the moment here by Emil Verstringer, the rider immediately behind Lawrence. You can see the 2 green and white jerseys together. So Kuhn, followed by Ertz, followed by Kuipers. They're the front 3. Then you've got the duo together of Lawrence Fieke, quickly followed by Emil Verstringer. Then you can see Victor van der Putte coming through with Joran Verschuren, Thibaut Nice and Thibaut Del Grosso going down. Michael Van Toren out, though, starting to progress up through the field, sitting in 9th place at the last check. Ellie Isabit at the moment on a course that is not his favourite. Not that I'm sure he'd ever say that. Currently on the time check, showing us being in 18th 19th position or so. We're just waiting to see where it's going to come through. I think 20th now. It comes up, so he's dropping down through that race of field. He's nearly a half a minute down on the race leader, Jette Mikkels, the European champ, previous European champ, looking like he's just been distanced that a little bit. I'm just going to take a little bit of a look back. Look at the face of Ellie. He is a bit shake of the head here. Good day, bad day? Don't think it's a good day. See that back wheel sliding around the rut. It's trying to catch the rut. So when all the riders going down there, particularly if there's any braking, they roll down a rut. That rut will catch your wheel as you go through. Lets you drop in a little bit quicker. You've got that little bit extra grip, that little catch as it goes through. Get it wrong, or it catches too hard, too much pace. If it jumps over that, you've got a big drop further over, or if it catches it completely right over the top. At the moment, though, the front of this race well spread out, but all on this climb. Thomas Main from Great Britain in the green and black, ahead of Michael Boris, the rider in the white, red and blue. They are in front of Isabit, who is currently dropping down through this race field. Now off and running, drop down onto that lower line and down out through the barriers he goes. Well, Toenaerts has come out from the course. He's got to go back in where he came out. He doesn't have to go back underneath the netting, but he has to go back in at the same place. Toenaerts over the top, misses the wooden post, fortunately. Drops down underneath the netting. The netting has got a rope at the top that it's zip tied to give it strength. But at the bottom, generally that a little bit looser so that you don't get caught quite as badly at the base there. To the front of the race, the two race leaders from the Charles Ligeois UCI Cyclo-cross squad in the white and yellow, with two riders from the Creelan Corridon squad. That's the white and green. So two sets of two up at the front. And now we start to see a move. Michael Van Toren out, starting to make his way up towards the very front of the race. Kevin Kuhn wanted to make the most of having this race lead. Right-hand turn up to the top of the bank, heading in to complete lap number 2. So 10 laps to carry on the pace by my rough maths will put you about an hour and 3 minutes if they manage to keep on going on the pace of lap number 1. We'll see if that's going to be the case when they get to the top. This is the end of lap 2, the run up to the top. 3 goes, it's 2 of 9. All those commentators have maybe taken into allowance the fact that it's tough out there today. So 13 minutes 41. They base it on the 2 lap time, so not just lap 1, but lap 1 and lap 2. Because it does give you a much more accurate idea of the pace over the full duration of the race. As in goes the race leader, time to change that bike. Clean tyre treads, more grip, better braking, less mud on the handlebars, better control, less mud in those pedals, less stones in there, better chance of getting clips in each and every time. You can see team helpers, team crew either side of the pit, and that is because we have riders that dismount either side of the bike. If you dismount to the left of the bike goes out to the right, so that's the left-hand side as we're looking at it. If you dismount on the drive chain, it's go the opposite direction. It's a real carnage. It is very much like a change over in the Madison, but instead of changing riders on the track who are there in the lead, we're changing bikes for these riders. You see Boris there getting caught up in traffic, losing some ground as Thibaut Nice goes through behind Ian Ackert of Canada, making the way around that turn. Ackert at the moment 21st position last time check, currently chasing the lead though, and he's got Thibaut Nice, so he's in good company at the moment, down in the 20s at the moment. Lars van der Haar, 19th position on a course that usually suits van der Haar to a T. So Ian Ackett comes around the side there in the red and white. Ellie is a bit, well, he rode and clipped a post with his right-hand side yesterday on one of the descents. Today, it's his left-hand side. So at the moment, Ellie is a bit in the wars. Don't think that man should be putting on a lottery ticket anytime soon. Certainly not anywhere near the Namur Citadel. It is an area that just does not go well for him. It's an area he really doesn't seem to get a great result. 4th place is best position here for a rider of the class of Ellie Isabet. The band playing as we see Michael Van Toren out making contact and in that leading the group as they come round. It was 4 riders on the front. It has now become 5. Michael Van Toren out of that Palshausen bingo squad is going to have to do the business for the team today. There won't be any team tactics or assistance between him and Ellie Isbit, which has become a real common feature. Van Toren out, the series leader, the World Cup leader. He's now in a minority. He's the solo rider in that white and red of the World Cup leaders jersey. Will that 5 find that they are being joined again? Pim Romha starting to move back up through the field onto the heels of Timo Del Grosso as they come out from the pit, and the leaders already up on to the steps going up and over the bridge. Little stumble there. It's so easy to do, to lose a little bit of grip. You're trying to push off and kick off on something that is really muddy. In fact, there we go. Looks like Ellie Isbit is out of the race. So Ellie Isbit came in 2nd place in the series standings. He was at 62 points. He was giving away 3 points to the leader of the race at the moment, his teammate Michael Van Toren out. Ellie Isbit has not been having such a good time since he'd taken his win in round number 1 in Antwerp, both on the Continental Series as well as out and racing on the World Cup. He's not been going his way as much as maybe he would like. That's it, job done. Another race completed at Namur, and on the hit and miss box, Namur yet again is a miss for Ellie Isbit. Well, series leader is race leader as they come down on to this long climb up here. The Route de Cannons, the cobblestones, is the ascent. You can get a bit of an idea of the gradient here, and a mistake there. That's Pim Rojo, who's just gone flying, I think, over the handlebars. The bike going and dropping down in to the right-hand road, getting tangled with the padding at the side there. He's back up again. And that will have cost him a little bit of time. He's sitting inside the top 10. Well, that was nice. Ortsy's down as well in the background. So this is Pim Romha's tangle. Yep, goes off the rut, goes to the right-hand side. The wheel starts lifting up. Can't correct it on that downhill, on that slope. Meanwhile, race leader on the big traverse, holding a high line here. Here's Van Toren out on the low line here. It looks like Kuiper's just starting to make his way up. Kuhn has lost a little bit of ground here at the moment. Certainly looks like Kuipers and Verstringer are the only riders that are staying with them. Michael Van Toren as he accelerates onwards. Michael Van Toren electing to push the bike up that slope. Most of the riders getting the bike up onto the shoulder. It's not picking up mud, it's not collecting dirt and detritus in the tyre treads. Yes, you have to pick it up. That expends energy, but keeping it out of trouble. A little mistake there by Verstappen, just getting his hand down, having to correct that little bit of a stumble. Pim Romha after that tumble, doing what he did yesterday, riding and running with his glasses in his teeth. Yes, he managed to ride yesterday up the back, not lose any ground with them in his mouth as he took them off. But needs to, I'm sure, try and get them back to the team or get them stashed safely away. Great battle here developing in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th regions of the top 10. Front three riders, your leading trio going through. And at the moment, just a little bit of air coming in between Kuipers and Verstringen in 2nd and 3rd places. Verstringen holding the wheel of Van Toren out of that climb. A little bit of a look across at the screens at the timing as they come in through. They'll be looking to see what those gaps are. And interestingly, only 2 of the 3 going in for a clean bike. Always a gamble staying out. So different pitting strategies. You can see the 2 riders from Charles-Lichois and the 2 riders from Creel and Corridon going in different times to everybody else. A little bit further down, rider after rider being ejected from the bike here today. Not good news as Simon Warren clearly enjoying the action in the crowd in the background. A man who's good at going uphill. I wonder what he'd be like on a cyclo-cross bike. 3 leaders back on the climb that took us away from our start area. The gap between our 3 leaders and the chasers are behind, showing on our screens about 14-15 seconds. Toenaerts leading the chase start of the season. Toenaerts was climbing at the Berrigan race that kicked off the season, the B-Mine race, like he had afterburners. Was taking off in a jet aeroplane. He was so quick on the climbs. That's where he could get the power down. He's leading the chasers up that climb. They have ground to make up. We're on lap 4 of 9 of round number 4 of the 12-round UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup for 2024-25, and with 1 round having to be cancelled due to the adverse weather conditions in Sardinia at the race day. Antwerp and Dublin, our first 2-point scoring opportunities, are joined by Namur here today as the 3rd of the opportunities to add to the riders' tallies. Gerben Kuipers riding well. So Kuipers came into today in 10th place in the series, and that was a big intake of breath. That's somebody who's gone down on that descent as well. And you can see there are issues for lots of the riders here. Toenaerts just starting to open a little bit of a gap up to the riders behind. Toenaerts trying to bridge across to the 3 leaders. Kuipers, Van Toren out of the string, and then it's S, Koen, Svik, Musen, Del Grosso, Verschuren. I know set of glasses passed over to the pit crews at the moment, just trying to get any kind of vision in these conditions. Really, really difficult. The water runner from the bikes, from the conditions here on the Citadel, making life really, really difficult for the riders to see what they're doing. Take the glasses off, though. It is a risk because you will get dirt ejected off those tyres. You get spray straight in your face. Toenaerts, so keeping the glasses on, trying to pursue the riders in front. That gap currently around about the 11 seconds mark between the 3 leaders and the chaser behind. A good sized gap between Toenaerts, Thibaut de Grosso, another 6 seconds or so as they make their way down here. You can see those time gaps coming across the base of your screen from our last time check. You can see Toenaerts chasing on our screens here as a man who has rated, had 2 second places, 2 third places at Namur. He's been in the top 10 7 times and yet has never taken the win here. Will today be the day? He's got to get back up with these riders. And look at the line there. Michael Van Toren, what a move. Came in tight, took the tight line, dropped down. He opens the gap. That is using your skill to open distance between you and your rivals, to put them under pressure. You can see that bike being caught time and time again as the riders come in, just throwing it down into the grooves, into the where the erosion there as the riders drop in. This course ridden for so many years here, and the winner's name is a real who's who of cyclocross. First winner back here a long time ago, but it has to be said, it is not always the strongest riders. Sometimes it is the luckiest riders who come away with the win. You've got to make sure you stay clear of trouble though, and that's in part about making your own luck, staying clear of all of those issues. Michael Vantoren out quickly back on the pedals right until he can go no further. 2 nets riding all the way through here, looking good behind. You can see Thibaut Del Grosso. Then you have got a big push coming behind. I think we're going to see Pim Romhan moving his way back up here. In terms of winners of this race, Niels Albert won on the first edition, and then it's riders like Stibar, Nice, Powels, Murray, a certain Matthew van der Poel and Wout van Aert, along with Michael Vantoren and Thomas Peacock, taking us from 2009-10 World Cup season to the 2023-24 season. 2 nets figures back in 2019-2020. Second place for him there. This is his most recent second, his most recent third in the 2021-22 season. So around we come, we're going to complete lap 4 very shortly. You can see the leaders about to overtake riders who have been pretty much lapped in the duration of the racing so far. Many riders are subject to that 80% rule, and you've probably heard me say this a few times before, but essentially it's just to ensure that the riders have a safe run through. You don't want anybody being tangled up who has been caught by the race leaders and is down 1 lap. So over the top the leaders go. At the moment led over and through by Emil Verstringer, with Michael Vantoren out on his heel. Kuipers distanced on that section of that climb. Quick kick of the foot by Tuna. Instead just trying to get all the dirt, any little stones knocked out of the shoe into the pit. The 2 leaders go either side of that pit. So Kuipers does the same. Tuna deciding to stay out, continuing onwards. Riders with multiple bikes down in that pit area. Generally a minimum of 3 is regarded as what you need. The jet washes are provided by the race organisation. So you need 1 generally in the wash, 1 ready for the rider coming round, and 1 out on the course being ridden. That's generally regarded to be the minimum at this level of competition. Lots of local leagues around the globe having 1 bike competitions and categories so that you can get in with a little bit less expenditure. You don't need to match what the pros, the best in the world, are riding, and investing with their teams in making the racing happen and ensuring they've got a clean bike. Well, Pim Romhan there out of the saddle, throwing that bike around at the moment, trying to get back up to the race leaders. Kuipers just using this little section to recover the lead with Michael Vantoren. All 3 riders around the wide line, zigzagging their way across this hillside, across this steep bank, reducing that gradient down a little bit, meaning it's rideable all the way up to the top. Vantoren being cheered on by the crowds. Chase coming behind from 2 nets here, sandwiched in between You see the Charles Ligeois riders, and this is that big tumble that we saw coming down when that wheel went down on the way through. Now our riders get this big medical presence on all of the World Cups to look after the riders. If we get any news on our riders, we will let you know during the show. 9 times out of 10 though, you'll have to catch up with the news post-race, because not always communicated to us to communicate to you, but if we do get updates on any of the riders, if they do take a tumble, we will pass those on to you. So Vantura now at the moment leading the race. Verstringer with him. The gap continues to open back. Kuipers just leaving a little bit of ground between him and the 2 leaders. Over half races onto lap 5 of 9, onto the stairs, onto the bridge. As we move into the second half of the race, this is where we see how the riders have measured, how they pace this. Have they gone too hard too soon to stay out, to stay with the race lead? Are we going to see somebody with a bit more stamina be able to ride off? Michael Vantura out showing just why he is so good on this course. His bike handling skills, when it's muddy, when it's tricky, when it's difficult, when it's technical, he rides so well. He's quite a tall rider, he's got quite a high centre of gravity, yet it doesn't hinder him. No problems at all when he's out and facing descents like this. Rarely see him making mistakes, and generally when he does, it means he's on the limit. As we see Tunis make his way onto the back wheel of Kuipers. Now it's into this little session, just running a little bit further forward. So here, there, it was not necessarily the best move there by Verstringer, just going really tight onto the wheel of Vantura. We could get to see the line he took down there, and they'll have used that to his advantage. It'll be logged in the memory banks to try and make sure that you take the best line each and every time. It does change, of course, every time a rider goes offline. They take some of that good line, some of the good bank with them. They can take some of the mud, some of the grip, and move it to the side. Now behind our 4 riders in the front of the race, Ronha just opening up a little bit more of a gap behind him. Verschuren and Svik in that order. The 2 green and white jerseys being followed by the 2 denim jerseys, and that's Del Grosso and Mikkels respectively. Behind them, Kevin Kuhn, Lars van der Hand, Toon van der Bosch. See the riders bouncing about on this long traverse here. The close-up shots show just what the ground does to the body, shaking them about, and very quickly up on to the shoulder of Emil Verstringer goes at the bike there. Oh, a little bit of mistake. Another stumble, another fall down there. Not what you want to have happen. That's Johan Verschuren, who had that little bit of an issue. Picks himself back up again. But that certainly looked to hurt. So as the leaders come around towards the climb, it is Emil Verstringer who's going to lead them on to this. The youngster from Belgium makes his way in. He's on his way. He is a rider who we have seen race so strongly in his younger years. And he's certainly looking very good at the moment. So when he raced here as an under-23s, took a victory. He beat Mikkels on that occasion. And that was in 2023, a couple of years ago. Clearly a race course that he likes. He's with another man who clearly revels in this big, fearsome course on the Citadel of Namur. Van Torenhout in second place. 6 seconds between Van Torenhout and Toon Aerts. 5 seconds between Aerts and the chasing riders behind. Well, Stringer making his way up into the elite ranks, moving from the under-23s, born in February 2002, so 22 by my reckoning. And that means still one of our younger riders. Certainly, we saw him competing in the World Championships in Tabor when he got a silver medal there. And I think that went back in 2023-22 by my memory. It's always questionable, just hunting through the vast notes. The string's not been right at the front of affairs, though, in the World Cup by any stretch of the imagination. And it certainly means that this is going to propel him up through the rankings if he can take away a top 2 position, which is where he's riding at the moment. The chase is on behind Toon Aerts and Gerben Kuipers, still not letting them go too far. Pim Roja still in attention, as is Lawrence Veek. Oh, a little mistake there by Michael Van Torenhout coming around that turn. Maybe came in a little bit hot, losing a little bit of ground. Is Stringer going to be able to take advantage of this? He will have heard that slip, that slide. He knows he's got a gap. This is going to make Michael Van Torenhout work harder, and an uncharacteristic mistake. But everybody is making mistakes today. Everybody is having slips and slides. Everybody can have, and anybody can have an issue on this course, no matter how good you are. Stringer takes a look over his left shoulder. He sees he's got a gap. He'll be able to see exactly what that is now as he comes around that dead turn at the end. This is that mistake by Van Torenhout. Came in the back wheel, just sliding out there with the speed. He's not on a dirty bike, so it's not like we would expect it to be full of mud. Just not quite able to hold the bike as he came around that turn. Maybe just a little bit tight there. It has allowed Emil Verstring to open a little bit of a gap. It has allowed Toon Aerts to close down on the wheel of the series leader of the World Cup, Michael Van Torenhout, the rider in second place. These 3 riders now clear of Gerben Kuipers. Kuipers currently sitting about 5 seconds further back. Then you've got a gap to Roja, to Sveek and Co. Plenty of spring left in Emil Verstringer's legs as he goes running, sprinting up there. Not a misstep from him. Van Torenhout goes up, followed by Toon Aerts here. They know that it's getting towards the sharp end. We're on lap 6 of 9 here at Namur. A little bit further back, 4th and 5th places, just coming a little bit closer together. Kuipers and Roja separated by 3 seconds to come into this descent. Well, the inflatable barriers on the outside of the course there to catch the riders that come across. You can see just coming across to our left at the outside of the turn. The inflatable there to catch the riders that do lose control of the way down. No problems for Emil Verstringer. Very handily down that. He's going to take the right-hand turn. Now, this is where he had a problem last time around, but he came in here with Van Torenhout for company. This time he comes in alone. Van Torenhout is going to come around. He's going to have clear air, and this is where Verstringer needs to hold this together. Elite World Cup at stake here. All top 3 riders on to the climb on the Route de Cannons here at Namur, and looks like Kuipers with an issue there. That is going to have cost him 4th place, pushed him down into 5th place. He's continuing to try and stay clear of Lawrence Veek, very experienced rider. Sveek looking tired though. You can just see his legs underneath him as he came down to the bottom there. The bike going flying by the side of him. Tricky turn and descent that for Sveek, getting off on the drive side of the bike. Behind him then you've got Van der Putter and Thibaut Del still continuing to try and keep a hold on Sveek. Look at the grass and the mud stuck to the base of the shoe of Emil Verstringen. Get that in the shoe in the lock-in mechanism between the shoe and the cleat that fastens on the bottom of the shoe. And the pedal, that is where you're really going to have problems. You can't afford to pick up too much dirt in there. Have to try and kick it out as much as possible, but you're running across this terrain. If you can stay riding longer, and it makes life that a little bit easier. At the moment, though, you can just see this race becoming a bit of a war of attrition here, with rider after rider hitting the floor, making mistakes. What you don't want to do is make your mistake towards the end of the race. There's nowhere to go back. There's not enough time left. And Emil Verstringen really pushing it to the limit up here. He crests the bank as Van Torenhout comes into the base of it. Van Torenhout out to our left-hand side. He doesn't have the luxury of pulling on the ropes on the post and on the branding as he goes up. Can't use them for stability. Reinhardt electing to tow the bike to drag it behind him. Surely that's costing him energy. Not sure the team boss Fennis will be particularly happy with that as a technique as it goes up on to the bank. And it's a bit like having an anchor behind you, just makes life so much harder. But when you are right on the limit, picking it up, putting it on your shoulder, so tough. The stringer comes to the top of the bank of Van Torenhout, trying to find any kind of traction out to the left of the side there. Tuna, small steps, fast cadence here. Left-hand side just gets hold of that branding, just to give that a little bit more stability. But at the end of lap 6, Emil Verstringen looks over his shoulder. When he looked, he couldn't see anybody, but not that far behind him. It is going to be Michael Van Torenhout, the rider chasing. 6 seconds separating them behind. You can see Tuna, it's almost equidistant. What's that time gap going to be? It's 13 seconds on the leader, 7 seconds behind Van Torenhout, and then it's Pim Romha. So pretty much the same gaps between each of the riders in that top 4. Get this pit change right. You'll be keeping yourself in contention, make a mistake here, and then you're going to lose ground. A little bit of a low gear there, maybe for Tunis, just pedaling really quickly as he came out from there. Kicks the shoe before engaging it in the pedal. A couple of bites of the cherry there to get it clipped in. You see just how steep these banks are. The bridges, the riders going up out of the saddle, absolutely pushing on those pedals with everything. They've got, they can't afford to put too much power down and lose grip. They've got to balance that deployment of power with grip. Now into the left-hand turn, we've seen Van Torenhout slide out here. This is what gave Verstringen the chance to open the gap. At the moment, though, no problems. Van Torenhout gets back on to the wheel after having made that mistake. He's come back on. What has that cost him, though? How much energy has he expended? Look over the shoulder there. And I think it's risky letting Michael Van Torenhout come in to the race lead here. He's got the ability to potentially run away on these descents, but it does keep the pressure here on Verstringen as he goes round. Torenhout goes up on the inside, moves on the left there, coming into that next corner. Has he made a move on the youngster going through? He has. So coming into that right-hand turn, he made that move. Van Torenhout has gone to the front, and this is still technical. This is still about having that skill, carrying the pace and speed down over the tarmac. The bike moves about, he's really on the limit of the grip, then into the right-hand turn. This is really flat. We've seen issues here. No problems at all. And looks to me like that Verstringen just tightening that corner up just to get chasing on the inside. So Van Torenhout accelerating up into the race lead. A little bit of a shout across there by Tunis to the pit crew. is behind him. Pim Ronhart comes through on that long, wet section, about to dive down again. And they've got to get over the bridge, over the steps, up over the top, down the ramp and in to the big descent. Here we go, Van Toren out leading down, left, right, turn foot out, bike slides underneath him, corrects it. Just allows the string to get a little bit closer, quickly back up, pedaling again. Michael Van Toren out taking the right-hand bed here into the next downhill, dropping over these tree roots. So then it's the left-hand turn. You can see by how much that bike is moving, how much it's getting rattled about by the tree roots, how much it goes offline as you go over them. If you go over a tree root smoothly, it'll go straight over the top. You put in sideways, turning pressure on it, you can lose it till it'll slide sideways, it'll drop out, it'll slide out. And Van Toren out putting the pressure now on Emil Verstringer after he's caught him back. He's putting pressure on the youngster behind him. Now can Van Toren out set up an attack up onto the climb here. Emil Verstringer's behind him. Van Toren out's moved down there. The natural gap that opens on the descent. It's but about 4 or 5 bike lengths up between the race leader in second place between Van Toren out and Emil Verstringer. Verstringer working to try and close that gap back down again to get back in touch. Tunes is not that far behind. Our camera at this angle is going to have a short on that, but I think Verstringer has made the junction. You can see him just moving slightly to one side to get a bit better view. Plenty of holes in that tarmac to be avoided. Plenty of sharp edges that can cause you problems with the bike. Left-hand turn back into the woods they go. Okay, here we go. The traverse. Probably the most infamous traverse in cyclo-cross history here at Namur. Stringer drops down, push and pulls until he gets himself onto that higher line, then continues to re-drop back down again, following the line taken by Michael Van Toren out, but the Stringer is off. Van Toren out's clipped back in again. Van Toren out jumps off onto that right-hand side, and this is where dismounting onto the drive side is an advantage of about a metre higher if you jump off on the rider's right or left-hand side. Well, it's just under a decade between the rider leading and the rider in second place in terms of their dates of birth. At the moment, there's nothing to choose between them on this course. They've both made mistakes. They've both found that they've been able to correct them and stay in contention. Tunes at the moment fights to try and get back in touch with the two leaders. They're going to come down, take the right-hand turn up onto the climb, onto this run up. The gap to Tunes still hovering around about that 6-second marker. Now we've seen Michael Van Toren out look a little bit more laboured than Verstringer up here. Verstringer just looking a little bit more controlled as he come up this section. Tunes very quickly up here, making ground as he goes up onto the tarmac. What's the gap going to be as they go in over the top? Michael Van Toren out takes a little bit of a look across. Lap 7 of 9 is going to be complete. They're looking to see where Tunes is. Well, Verstringer and Van Toren out go through. It's been hovering around 6 to 7 seconds. It's at 5. Big one, but Mike just coming off the treads there. They really are into don't make any mistakes kind of territory now. 2 laps left to go. We're on the penultimate lap. The pair go back into the pit once again together. Tunes not getting a bike because Shoe's taking another bike, kicks the mud out of the pedal, out of his shoe. He's closing on that back wheel. He knows it's not far. Still holding about 3 or 4 seconds. Just goes round over the speed bump. The traffic calming measures on the descent down onto the climb. They're coming part way up that start climb. Tornout really winding it here. Out the saddle, great rhythm. Behind him, the stringer matching him. Pedal stroke for pedal stroke. Turner throwing himself all over the front of that bike, trying to get the power down. Pim Roja doing the same here. That bike wheeling from side to side as he throws the bars across. So Toon Ertz, last time check, 4 seconds behind our race leader, 20 seconds down Pim Roja. Behind them, Kevin Kuhn, Jenti Mikkels, followed by Gerben Kuipers, Thibaut de Grosso, Joran Verschura, and Lawrence Fick. They round out the top 10 with Lars van der Hout just sitting outside it in 11th place. You can see them ticking across your screen. Notable Royce Thomas Main on a good ride today, 15th place at the moment. Felipe Orts, well, he's in 17th place. He would have been wanting maybe a little bit more. Nathan Bommel of France, good ride by him, top 20 at the moment. Ian Acker hovering in the top 25, 23rd position at the moment for the man from Canada. Well, 2 become 3. 3 riders, 3 podium places. Can they stay clear? Can they stay clear of each other and not tangle on their way down any of these descents, through any of these twists and turns? So Pim Roja's best position in the season so far. The 6th place, currently sitting in 4th position. This will be his best result at the World Cup Series this year. That will help push him up through those standings. All of the riders benefiting from Ellie Isabit's retirement. If you were with us earlier on the show, Ellie Isabit having a very bad day at the office. Not having a great weekend overall. He's had collisions, he's had crashes, and eventually today here at Namur, point out from the race, scoring 0 points. He was sitting in 2nd place, only 3 points up behind Michael Van Tornout. He was in front of Toon Ertz, the man who's currently sitting in 3rd wheel at the moment. And he was in front of him by what was 14 points, but with 40 points for first, 30 for second, 25 for third, 22 for fourth, 21 for fifth, and then descending at 1 point at a time to 25th place. There's a lot of points going to be allocated to his rivals. Toon Ertz and Michael Van Tornout are going to be the 2 big scorers here. We've got Lawrence Fick, who was sitting in 4th position coming into this race. He's still inside the top 10, so he's not going to do too badly from today. Pim Roja going to move up through those standings, that's for sure. Felipe Orts going to be dropping back down if the positions stay as they are. It's the 3rd of the point scoring rounds in the 12-round race series, with 0 points going out at Cabras last week. Next weekend, 2 sets of points on offer as we will be moving across to Hulst and then across to Zonhoven the day after. So you can go and ride your way through the middle of the Wimble and down the side of the defences, down the bastion sides and down the ramparts at the side of the old medieval moat. On Saturday and on Sunday you can ride down to Coyle and into the big sand trap, one of the bucket list places to go watch cyclo-cross, along with Namur. The atmosphere in Zonhoven in De Coyle, absolutely in the sandpit or the quarry, absolutely electric. The atmosphere here, you can see the crowd see some absolutely fantastic riding. All these riders fighting the conditions, battling each other, having to deal with changing terrain as each and every rider goes through, every wheel track, every stud on those tyres, changing how the course is riding. You can see the big dive down from Toon Ertz. They're really representative of the descent off the bike. You've got to step right the way off it and jump down on that traverse, making it difficult for the vast majority of riders. Well, good to see our riders who do come off. Now we saw the big tumble earlier on, up, awake and talking and communicating. Pretty much all of us, I think, who've ridden a bike in anger at some point have put it on the floor, whether it's through our own fault or not. And good to see that the riders recovering. And whilst it might not be what they want to happen, at least looks like nothing too serious, and certainly not going to stop them getting back on a bike, I'm sure. So it's Van Toren out overstringing the order as they come in this time around. We're on lap 8 of 9. 56 minutes of racing done. The riders really are starting to feel the pressure now as they go round. The leaders coming in over the top here. 3 riders, 3 podium positions at stake. It's not going to be long to find out. 2,500 or 2 meters, 2.5k to go. Where is Pim Rohau? That gap looks to go back out again. Last time checked, 21 seconds back. So these 3 riders know that they're on something special. They can keep it going into the finish. It'll be Emil Verstringer's best result by some margin in the World Cup results, that is for sure. I know he raced at Flamanville and Benidorm. Benidorm was last year, but that was in the men's under 23. So whilst he's taken wins in the under 23 World Cup in terms of an elite, I'm pretty sure it is going to be his best result. If he can take the win here today, he will be absolutely ecstatic. That will be job done for him. Toenaerts and Michael Van Toren trying to stop him. Michael Van Toren with an eye on the overall as Toenaerts. It's pushing hard here, but look at Emil Verstringer here bouncing his way up. It starts to move up on the left hand side, goes round It's on the ascent, starts to really push now, and can Verstringer respond? Van Torenhout's going to have to try and go round Verstringer as they go up onto the bridge, and Emil Verstringer is feeling the early efforts here. He's labouring over the top of the crest of the bridge. They're going to come back into sight. Will all 3 be together? Toenaerts leading this out now. He looks back, that gap has opened. Van Torenhout's in second, Emil Verstringer sitting in 3rd place. Well, just doing some very quick and massive. Toenaerts can take away the win. He's got 4th place and second place and an 8th place so far. That gave him a total of 48 points coming in. If he could take away the win, it's another 40 points, 88 points. Check the maths as we go along. We've got Michael Van Toren out. If he takes 2nd place, that means he'll get 30 points to add to his 65. That'll put him on 95 points. It will put him to the top of the standings with an increased margin, but it should see Toenaerts move up into 2nd place. So Toenaerts can't take away the overall series. That is if they finish as they are now. Michael Van Toren cannot afford to drop too far down those standings, though, because the points allocation tumbles away as we move our way down through that top 25. Emil Verstringer at the moment, well, this is going to get him on to the points board, and there's still plenty of opportunities to score as we move on to our double weekend at Holstens-on-Hoven, then on to Havre on December the 26th, but Sanson, that is on December the 29th into January. We've got Dendermonde on the 5th of January, Benidorm on the 19th, and then it's the double weekend that ends off the World Cups at Maasmechelen and Hoogerheide on the 25th and 26th of January. This battle could well go to the end of the season. There's still plenty of racing left to go all the weekends and on the days in between as we run through in that run up to the World Championships. Toenaerts with the gap into the descent. Keeping it smooth. Michael Van Toren out there really pushing. You could almost see the pressure on the riders behind because Van Toren out with his foot out, and another little mistake there by Verstegen, just really pushing so hard. He lost traction on a couple of left-hand turns. He needs to keep it together. He's going to be absolutely shattered at this stage. We've gone over 1 hour of racing now as we go into the hour marker, and out the other side. Is this where Verstegen pays the price for battling for the race, or when he's got a decent margin? It's still well in excess of 25 seconds to pin Ronhaar in 4th place, but surely now Verstegen has too much to do to take away a win. What can Michael Van Toren do about Toon Aerts? He's chasing him, the World Cup leader in that jersey. Well, he's on his way, and another mistake, big mistake now by Verstegen. You could see it was building towards that. He looks like he's going to pick himself back up really quickly, but that is a race win out of the window. He has to get going. Hopefully the bike is all right. A podium would be a just reward for his efforts here today on Namur. He's up and pedalling. This Toon Aerts pushes. Michael Van Toren spending too much time looking back and not looking forward. All of the coaches out there will be screaming at the TV. They'll be screaming at their own rider, saying, if you do that again, that's not what you do. You look forward, focus on getting up there. You could be challenging for the win. Van Toren out, though, losing ground here to Toon Aerts. Toon Aerts on that low line. Oh, into the netting, and it's a post! He's hit the post, he's gone over the top, he's losing time, it's hemorrhaging, the bike gets flipped up and over, almost in the face of Michael Van Toren. Van Toren manages to avoid him, he goes into the race lead, he went from 2nd place. Right, pace to look in front, anything can happen. Toon Aerts, that has got to have winded him as he went over the top. He's experienced, he knows what he's doing, he's been on the floor plenty of times in races. He's picked himself back up again, he's having to do the same again. He's gone from leading into 2nd place, and the World Cup leader now leads the race. Let's look at that again. Into the tape, into the post, the wheels, the bars get caught, over the top he goes. Michael Van Toren profiting from that, keeping calm even when that bike flew across his face there. 5 seconds, but more importantly, it's the entire bank here between the World Cup leader and the man in 2nd place, Toon Aerts. Michael Van Toren, who took a 3rd place in Antwerp, was on the podium at the first round of the World Cup. He took the win in Dublin. He's in the lead here in Namur. Time is running out for anybody to do anything about this. It's going to take an absolute disaster for him not to make it. He's got the run-up to do. He looks over his shoulder. Toon Aerts surely knows he's beaten now. And Michael Van Toren he's got to have a smile on that face as he comes up here. Focus on the run-up. Doesn't want to put it on the floor. He's seen that lead change. What drama in the very last sections of the lap. The traverse takes out the race leader, and once again this race is decided by technique and skill. Your race winner, it's 2 in a row, 3 podiums from 3. It is Michael Van Toren, the king of the Citadel for 2024-25 World Cup season here in Namur. A 2nd place. What a great ride by Toon Aerts. It's not meant to be that race victory. He'll be ruining that error, that mistake, that little bit of a line change as he came in on the descent. It cost him a win in fine 2nd place and a brilliant 3rd place. A just reward for a man who's won here as an under-23. He takes a podium, and that's his 1st podium in the Elite World Cups. What a ride by Emil Verstegen. Michael Van Toren absolutely exhausted. Gets the congratulations of Toon Aerts on the way through. Pim Ronhaar, not a podium today. It's a 4th place, and that will have helped his points standings as well. He came in to the Citadel in 7th position. Good return to racing for Timo Del Grosso. He rounds out the top 5 with Lawrence Fick in 6th place. There's going to be a 7th place here today for Kevin Kuhn after leading early on in the race. And it's going to be Janti Mikkels who comes through in 8th position. Good ride by him as well. And nice to see the handshake there between the 2 riders who are at the front of that race for so long. Michael Van Toren and Emil Verstegen, but Van Toren coming out the race victor. Well, a man who knows all what it's like to race here. He's had a second place before. It's not a podium today for Lars van der Haar. It is more points in to the bank in terms of the World Cup overall. Next in, European champion, it is Thibaut Nice. He takes the applause of the crowd. 11th place here today. Joran Verschuren, Toon van der Bosch. It's all that mud. It's not the fact that I'm running out of coffee fast in the commentary box. So Toon van der Bosch goes in and over the line there. Good ride by him. Interesting to see the way that the positions change as these riders come in and through the finish here. Just looking for our next riders. This is going to be Thomas Bean of Great Britain making his way in over the line. Good results for him today. They're going to come inside the top 15 along with Felipe Orts. They were all chasing our race leaders though. What a battle at the front. The way those positions changed all the way into the very last technical sections. It really was only the last run-up that our race leader was clear of Toon Aerts, who fought his way through today. Not to be his day today on the top step, but it's still going to be a podium. So let's take a quick check out on the course where our riders are coming in. We've got Orts in 14th, Van der Putten in 15th. Bommel's going to come in for a top 20 ride, as is Rulia. In Acker, currently sitting in 23rd position as we come in towards the end of the race. So top 25 placing by Ian Acker of Canada as we watch the riders make their way in to this finishing area. In fact, there he is, up onto the bank. Bike up on to the shoulders. Good to see him in action. Good to see the Maple Leaf being more proudly at the World Cups. Looking forward to seeing plenty more action from our Canadian riders as we make our way out through the season. The final race of the day at the Namur coming towards its conclusion as the riders make their way into that finish area. So I think our riders are being cleaned up, getting sorted out as the first rider we're going to hear. Toon Aerts.
In your face, what happened there in the end?
Yeah, stupid mistake on the off-camber. We know on this track that is the decisive part, but yeah, it was not my day on that part of the track today. In the beginning, I felt there during the running section, and yeah, the last lap was totally a block, and then I made a big mistake.
Does the fact that you were so strong today can give you any comforts?
At this moment, I'm a little bit disappointed, of course, but yeah, you know, I watched this race 2 years on the television. Two beautiful wet editions, one championship. It was with pain in the heart to watch this race, and now I'm back here doing these races, so we have to think about that, I think.
Thank you very much.
So a reflection back from Toon Aerts, that mistake as he went in. Apologies for anybody if they're offended by any of the language. Obviously our riders at the end of the race absolutely on their limits and emotional as well. So just be prepared. Our riders may well be expressive as they come in to the interview. Toon Aerts, after some years off, coming back in and back doing what he loves, racing his bike. Not to be his day on the top spot, but a fine ride by him on terrain that he knows that can really test absolutely any and every cyclocross rider. All the crowds enjoying the ride there by Toon Aerts. Second place behind Michael Van Turenhout and ahead of Emil Verstringer. A fantastic race. Let's take a look back at the racing that we've seen here today. So the classic start here on Namur. Saw a big kick off the line by Michael Van Turenhout, but Toon Aerts and Laurens Sveek very quickly moving up around the outside. Ellie Isbit getting shoveled backwards into the melee behind, as was Lars van der Haar. Thibaut Nice had to go in early for a bike change. making sure that he had a fresh bike, dropped him back in behind Elizabeth, who's working his way back up or trying to. The problems continued though, and Elizabeth really suffering and going down on a number of occasions, a number of mistakes at the front of the race. The race really being opened up by the Charles Ligeois squad, but Elizabeth eventually pulling out of the race. The rider who had taken the win in Antwerp had been second place in Dublin, not able to defend his second place in the series overall. The leader, Michael van Toornout of the series, and soon to be in contention for the lead of the race, battled his way up through the race pack. Pimmelhart chasing behind Toornout, getting back in touch and getting in contention, battling it out with Michael van Toornout and the young Emil Verstringer. Verstringer on a fantastic ride. Toornout battling alongside, and all three riders taking it in turns to try and put in the attack. Van Toornout going in for clean bikes on a regular basis, trying to make sure he's in a position to answer the attack, not be hindered by a bike. He has a lot to lose as the series leader, and Toornout's going into the lead. Well, it was not to be a surprise for many. Unfortunately, the surprises did continue though, and Toornout was the victim of one such. You could just see great avoiding action being taken by Michael van Toornout as he came in through. Toornout losing the lead, going into second place. It's a second win in a row for Michael van Toornout. It's a third podium out of 3 races for him. Toornout's in second place, Emil Verstringer coming through in third place. A great ride by the youngster, and a portent, I'm sure, of much more to come. So great racing during the race here at the men's elite race. We've seen racing from our under-17s. Well, one of those riders who can remember being a youngster, Emil Verstringer.
How do you look back on it yourself?
Oh, for sure I can be super happy with today. I expected a good feeling after a big training period, but to finish on the podium in the World Cup is it's incredible, yeah.
Did you ever think a win was possible today?
Oh, at the moment, for sure. I had to race to win the race, but yeah, just the final lap, it was yeah, maybe a bit the rhythm or yeah, just empty. But yeah, to fight with these guys, it was a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm sure it won't be the last time we see Emil Verstringer fighting it out at the front end of an elite World Cup. He's a class from start to finish and has taken so many great wins before in the younger age categories. To be racing with those elites, a dream come true for many riders. And today, he showed good on all that promise, and it's a podium as a result, a third place, and certainly showed some great maturity today, not panicking when he started to go into the red, picked himself up from those mistakes that is so easy to make when you're tired. So as the Citadel and the area here sees the spectators making their way in to the various party tents, into the podium area, out and around Namur. The Citadel of Namur has again hosted an absolutely classic set of races from our under-17s that kicked off the day, right the way through the women's elite and into our men's elite that finished the day's racing. The spectators very carefully making their way down the hillside that these incredible riders race on. They showed us some serious skill today, and it was rewarded for Michael Toornout with a win. 1 hour 3 minutes 23 seconds. A long day at the races for many of the riders outside of the top 10. All those riders in the top 25 scoring points for the series overall. And that means that Michael van Toornout scoring the most points, taking away 40 points to add to his points total. Well, when we add those points in, Michael van Toornout now with 105 points. Toornout's moving up into second place from third. Elizabeth dropping down to fourth place by not finishing that race. Ronhart, Verschoor, Van der Haar, Oskun and Van der Poel all still inside the top 10. But Michael van Toornout really has shown that he's going to be a man to beat for the rest of the season with that commanding lead. So the maximum possible points to have taken away at this stage in the racing, 120. Sorry, yes, 120. You can tell it's a bit on the old mass going on here. 3 lots of 40 points. As the spectators attempt to go up while our riders go down. Good luck. This could all end in a very long slide, but it looks like he's managed to make it. Some of our wiser spectators making their way down to the side of the course, making their way to the podium area. And they are going to watch our riders going up onto the stage, our top 3 riders. And of course, our race winner, the man who came to the front. He wasn't just good, he had a look on his side.
Michael van Toerenhout, another one, with a little help from Toon Aerts in the end.
Yeah, it was the last weeks the luck are on my side, so yeah, maybe you are in good condition, then the luck is by your side. So yeah, for me it's a incredible feeling in this weekend. So yeah. We will see the next weeks.
What do you think? What went through your mind when Toon had that little gap, about 3-4 seconds?
Yeah, I think it was the race was over, but I knew if you are totally off luck in the off-camera section, it's really difficult. So yeah, it was in my mind to have just the good line. So yeah, I saw in front Toon has a crash, so then I go full gas until the finish.
And not important. Maximum haul and points for the World Cup standing.
Yeah, it's very important the GC for me. So yeah, until yeah, we are no 3 World Cups. So yeah, we will see the couple in the few weeks. Hulst and Zonhoven very difficult for me. So yeah, we will see.
Congratulations.
By the way, his luck and his form is going at the moment. He says Hulst and Zonhoven are difficult for him. We will have to see. I think Hulst probably suited him maybe a little more than the Zonhoven course. The new Zonhoven course came in a couple of years ago. A little bit of a change, a little bit extra sand, a little bit extra descent. But at the moment, this man is riding absolutely everything superbly. Whether that is over in Dublin, in Antwerp on the sand, or here in Namur on the Citadel. 2 wins in a row, a 2nd place in Antwerp. It's going to be a difficult rider to beat. Great ride by our race winner to take away top spot. Michael van Toerenhout taking the win, salvaging what wasn't always going to be necessarily a great day for his team. Good to see the fans out, some of our traditional fans out and about that you see all over, the supporters clubs of all of the riders making their way out and round, young and old. And who knows, will we be seeing our youngsters racing in a few years' time on the World Cup Series? Are we seeing in front of us the next riders, the next Sven van Empels and the next Petersen? Are we seeing the next Emil Verstringers stood on the barriers looking over the top at their heroes racing out and round? Certainly Emil Verstringer has stepped up to some of the riders he's seen inspiring him over the past few years. Joining the riders on the podium, he's going to be joining Toon Aerts and Michael van Toerenhout on there. As we come towards the end of the day, the podium ceremony is coming very shortly indeed, as the riders are prepared and readied to make their way on there. Now, spectators have had a great day out. Don't forget you can catch up with all of the results, the splits, the timing of the races and all the latest news from the World Cup Series at www.uci.org. All of the UCI disciplines, from cyclo-cross to esports, across from BMX and the World Urban Games going on. The BMX freestyle, flatland and trials that's out in Abu Dhabi at the moment. All those results, lots of details from all sorts of riding and racing on that UCI site. The UCI, the governing body of cycle sport across the globe. The World Cups. Now the details on there of the forthcoming World Cups. We move from here. It's double weekend, as has been said. It's Hulst and Zonhoven next weekend. The weekend after Christmas on basically the 29th is Besançon. On Boxing Day, though, sandwiched in between Havre, always a classic race in the middle of that cursed period or Christmas period. So it's more today, Hulst and Zonhoven next weekend. Boxing Day there. And then we go on to the 29th of December for Besançon. 5th of January, Dendermonde, the 19th of January, Benidorm, and then we have our double weekend to round it all off. Maasmechelen and Hooger Heide will wrap up the World Cup Series. Will we see Toonarts on the top step? Where will he be? Battling it out for the racing win. Will he be battling it out for the top step on that series overall? Well, the herding of cats backstage looks like it's almost complete. We have our 3 podium riders ready to make the way on to the stage for the podium ceremonies for the Namur round of the men's elite here on the UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup for 2024-25. Some of these riders have spent plenty of time on the podium. For some of them, they were only doing it in the younger age categories. All 3 well deserved, and they make their way to the stage here.
Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, votre attention s'il vous plaît à la cérémonie protocolaire à l'issue de cette manche de la Coupe du Monde UCI, ici à Namur, catégorie élite. À la 3e place, nous accueillons Emil Verstringer.
A 3rd place for Emil Verstringer here at the Citadel of Namur.
Les fleurs et le trophée de la ville de Namur. À la 2e place, Toonarts.
So 2nd place for Toonarts, who will also get the flowers and trophy. As another visit to the podium here at Namur to his collection.
Du jour, vainqueur de cette 3e manche de la Coupe du Monde 2024-2025, Michael Van Toornout.
Michael Van Toornout, 2 wins here at Namur to his name. The luck was with him. He had the skills, he had the pace, the power and the positioning to take him to the win. He also has extended his lead at the top of the World Cup standings. He pulls on the World Cup leaders jersey over his standard trade team kit there as well. Great ride by our top 3. So the crowd ready, our riders will be ready for the national anthem of Belgium.
Le trio gagnant de cette édition Coupe du Monde, ici à Namur, la voiture Namur, qui a établi un nouveau record.
So the top 3 in the men's elite race here at round number 4 of the UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup for 2024-25. Emil Verstringer in 3rd, Toonarts in 2nd, and Michael Van Toornout leading They make the timer for the obligatory selfie, the social media selfie. Make sure you follow these riders on social media. You can soon find them across whatever your favourite social media platform is. Give them your support. Support the people who support your sport, their teams, their sponsors, and the organisers, all making the racing happening, keeping us entertained right the way to the finish here on a fantastic day's racing. You can see the backdrop there, adorned by all of the sponsors. A massive operation making it happen, and a big, big thank you to everybody, our volunteers and professionals alike, who make the racing happen in Namur. It never disappoints coming to the Citadel, a real hotbed of cycling of all types, and for cyclocross, definitely it's on the bucket list for everybody. So as the crowds get ready to make the way out, you can see Michael Van Toren and team now got to get themselves ready. They'll be getting the recovery done. They'll be getting themselves, getting the massage, getting the protein shake down there, basically making sure they're ready. Then they're going to have a week's training as they run across from here into the Holst Zonhoven weekend. Really close together races in terms of distance, although they are technically in two different countries. Holst in the Netherlands, Zonhoven in Belgium. The geographical spread is small. It is very, very close together. It is a hop over the border. Don't forget, you can go down and visit. There are loads of ways to watch in person. Of course, you can keep watching the whole of the World Cup. Please do make sure you tune in. It's shaping up to be an absolutely amazing season in the men's elite and in the women's elite races, and the whole of the season wrapped up by the World Championships in Leuven. An absolute pleasure putting words to the action. I love Namur, and today has been some fantastic racing here today. I hope you're inspired to jump on your bike. I know I have been, but from me, Matt Payne, from all of the team behind the scenes, please do make sure you stay safe, enjoy your riding. But for now, we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.